Welcome to Talk Around Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. One time I'm gonna learn how to do this in different languages.
Yes, you should 100% just do it in a different language. That's flat out.
I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-host, Jen Isgro, Tom Kokoza, and special love child, Brendan Johnston. How's everyone doing tonight? It's the fall officially. Hurricanes are coming. Sports are going. The Wheel of Time is rewatching.
Turning.
Yeah, and turning.
As always. I have another ant story if anybody cares to hear that.
Wait, you have an ant? You have an ant story?
Not
been smashing ants all week.
Yes, I didn't get to smash because they were outside, but
I anticipate this story greatly.
I quit.
Very quickly, I came home yesterday, like an hour before I came home, my husband, Dan, told me he thought that he saw termites outside. So I was like, great. So I called the exterminator, but then I got home and there were swarming, what I later learned to be flying ants, like right outside my front door. So I couldn't get in. I could have got in the front door, but I chose not to. And I had to interrupt my husband's meeting for him to come down and open up the back door so Olive and I could get into the house. It lasted like the rest of the day, and then they haven't been seen since, but the exterminator did come today and spray. My Dan took a ridiculously beautiful picture of the ants, which I want to share in Discord, unless anyone is really... I mean, I'm afraid of bugs, but I couldn't believe how close he got. It's almost like a glamour shot. Does anyone care in chat?
Yes.
Exterminator.
I just opened
picture?
I just opened Discord up and thought Dana's picture was the picture, and then it started moving. So I was.
I think that these ants might be like starting to mate because that's what I think the swarm was. But here we go. I'm gonna share it. Here we go.
Let's see it.
Look how beautiful this is. Look how close and clearly you can see.
Yeah, they're doing
ants embracing.
Yes, embracing.
I don't know how he got that close because I certainly wouldn't have, but at least
when a boy ant and a girl ant love each other very much.
These are ants.
I think she's talking about
one's
her
an
husband,
uncle.
Dan.
Well, maybe not.
He got so close to the ant.
Celine and
got
Rand.
it.
Bring it back to the show.
It kind of looks like that one ant is pushing the other ant down, in that kind of motion to go down there. That's what it looks like.
Rules of the road.
That's not going to make a baby ant, Joe.
Well, that's lucky for you then.
That's not how that works. Anyway,
is that what you want all of a sudden? More ants? Come on.
Well, they're all going to be dead.
Make up your mind.
The exterminator murdered all of them, hopefully. So I really don't want to tell any more ant stories, guys. So I hope this is my last.
We live in a world
story.
and there's billions of insects in it, Jen. So it's not going to be
I understand that, but I'm not saying it's the last ant I'll come across. I just want it to be the last ant situation that I have to tell a story about. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we hope not.
I don't enjoy this.
We love your ant stories.
Died giving ant head, Wolf Brother says. What a way to go.
Oh, boy.
I'm not going to say embarrassing because I'm not embarrassed by it because I don't think this is necessarily knowledge I should have. But until right now, I thought flying ants were an invention of Marvel Comics.
They're real.
I thought it was just something Hank Pym could do.
No,
there you go. Now you know.
Now I know, and that's half the battle.
We have some news to talk about before we get into our discussion about our rewatch of episode 4, season 2. We do have a quick piece of news we did want to talk about. A friend of the show, John from What Up, put out a video the other day. He has heard from sources close to production that season 3 is going to be released sometime around the March-April months. Yeah, so we've discussed this so many times. We've come up with our own crazy thoughts, and there was that whole "the coming year" phrase that was used a while back by the Amazon peoples. What is everyone's thoughts here? You guys, I think we've all been talking about around that time. I mean, I've been a little earlier, but what do y'all think about that?
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
I didn't. You thought earlier than that it was going to come out?
Yeah, I told you. I'm thinking we're gonna get a trailer Thanksgiving football, baby, on Amazon Prime. We're gonna get a trailer.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
And then the show's gonna come out in January. That's my prediction.
All right. So I think all right. I think I've been saying not that far after that. I think I was saying like late February, right? Early March, something like that. I like this March, April vibe. It's like right in the realm of where we've been at based on all the stuff that we've come up with. And I'm glad that John's sources say kind of the same thing. I think he talks in the video about how the philosophy at Prime Video for a while has been we want to keep our two big fantasy properties very separate. Keep them like a year apart from each other. And I guess the original idea was
they really know what they're doing over there too.
Well, whatever. But like the original idea was every Q4 put out a different one, and then shows come out every 2 years. And then like apparently like somebody somewhere might be listening to the fact that every single audience member hates that and maybe put shows out, closer together so that people remember what happened last season and you can actually build an audience. So I hope that that's part of this. And I hope that means that if when season 3 does well and season 4 is greenlit, then they can just kind of do it and then put it out when it's done and not have these arbitrary wait times.
Yeah, I think someone's pointing out, Rose is pointing out in Discord, also Rob from Malkia Talks had recently put out a TikTok talking about his predictions because Rosamund is doing some theater next year, and that she would
summertime.
She would likely be busy during the summer, I guess unable to do press and things like that, so potentially potentially then that would mean it would have to be like around April, May-ish or sometime. I'm shooting for the stars, man. I'm shooting for the stars.
I am pretty sure that you guys have predicted, expected, hoped for, however you want to put it, a trailer during the Super Bowl. Every year there's been a trailer and a Super Bowl. And I love you guys. And I want nothing but the best for you in this show. But you gotta let it go.
I've gotten off that bandwagon, man. Amazon's going to show it. They've been showing Rings of Power trailers and commercials during the football games on Thursday. So I'm thinking we're going to get one during one of the football games, later this year.
Okay. That's a different story.
Yeah,
that's
during the Thursday night football.
Okay. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't know.
I will say this. I think that just watching the last couple of Super Bowls, whether Prime Video, Amazon wants to spend advertising dollars like that or not.
Well, they clearly don't. We know this already.
But like watching the last couple of Super Bowls, there's nothing anymore. There's no TV shows advertised on that. Very few movies advertised anymore. Yeah. It's all trading and Bitcoin and people who are like all the commercials are for things that nobody wants. Yes, and snacks. E-Trade and Doritos,
Coca-Cola.
I guess that's what football fans like.
Yes,
they may not necessarily like fantasy television shows.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl ads aren't for football fans. They're supposed to be for the other people.
Bathroom. That's true.
It doesn't matter how many people watch the Super Bowl. I mean, that's
what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's the most watched show and the top 5 or 10.
You can't. I understand. I think what was happening there is you were trying to compare it to something, but you can't because the thing you compare things like that to is the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, isn't it something like the top 10 most watched shows ever? 7 of them are Super Bowls or something like that.
Right. It's like the season finale of MASH, and then
and the other time it's when there was only 4 channels, so you had to watch one of those shows, the 4 shows that was on. So, all right. So just a little additional. Some more evidence that we're going to get it around that time. I don't know. We'll see.
That's it.
It's definitely not going to be September, man. I know people were saying that. No, it's not happening.
No,
it's going to be earlier in the year.
Yeah, so. We're going to start heating up and getting news about this show soon. like definitely before Christmas. I think we're going to start to get real palpable from Prime Video things about the show.
Yeah. So with that, let's move on to our discussion for our rewatch episode 204, Daughter of the Night, cold open, an undisclosed time or day, because clearly this happens prior to the season starting. Right, it's the Kyrian countryside that the X-ray gives us, and it's this moon dial that Ishamael discovers or is seeking out, and we know what this dial is now. And right, doesn't Baal Doman mention the moon? Like, that's where the Quendayar, the piece of Quendayar came from. He said a broken moon dial in Kyrian.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we see the moon dial. We get the scene, the little speech by Ishamael. He chants while he, weaves the one power or the true power. We're not even sure at this point. I don't even know. Oops, we should talk about that later.
The whole show's ruined.
Yeah, I've ruined everything.
Cut that right out.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool cold open. I like it's short. It's probably one of the shorter cold opens. If not is this the shortest one of the season, maybe? So far?
So far,
yeah.
Compared to the last one, it's very, very short.
Well, the last one was a third of the runtime.
Yeah. We might as well just do this right now. Where does this rank so far in the cold opens of the season 2?
Why can't I ever remember?
It's Dark Friend Social.
Because episode 2 doesn't have a really. It's not.
Episode 2 barely has a cold.
Yeah,
It does.
okay.
I don't count that
Dark
one.
Friend Social.
It's Rand, right? Is the Rand cold open?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put this at number 2.
So
behind Nynaeve's accepted test.
I would probably put this.
That's not even really fair, though. I mean,
it's not.
I put this at 3. So I'd have Nynaeve, the Dark Friend Social, and this.
I feel like the Dark Friend Social and this are the only 2 true cold opens out of the cold open is episode 2 is just like the first scene. It's not really a cold open.
It is a cold open, but yes, it's not. Yeah.
It's not done in the style of the other ones where it's like here's something that's unrelated to what you're watching the main storyline. But yeah, I
in the Wheel of Time.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say 3.
All right.
Brendan, do you remember when watching this for the first time, like thinking about when is this taking place, or even thinking like, does it even matter if I know when it takes place?
I mean, I think it was pretty clearly taking place in the past, because I think they made a token effort to conceal who the bloody woman was, but it was pretty obviously Selene.
Okay.
So it was obvious to me, at least, that it was taking place in, as you said, an undisclosed point in the past.
Yeah. Months previous, I guess. I mean, they did mention, so there is that moon dial that if people connected it to Baal Doman's comment in the first scene, making like, people can make that connection that it's beforehand.
I have a question about this, kind of jumping to the end of the episode, if you guys don't mind. Now, that poem in the old tongue is written. That poem is written on the moon dial. What he says,
is it?
And that's what Baal Doman gives to Moiraine, that he copied off the moon dial, right?
Mm.
When it was,
yes, yeah,
it was broken because he brings her a piece of it, right?
Right.
So wait. So maybe this question doesn't. So was that like chiseled into the moon dial? Wait, go back.
It was written in blood.
Written in blood. Okay, forget it. This whole question is moo. For some reason, I was thinking that that it was on there.
Cow's opinion.
Yeah, I was thinking it was on there already, and then my question was going to be when Priyanka, when Alana's reading it and saying Lanfear's freed. I was wondering why that necessarily meant she was freed, but I forgot it was like written in blood on there after she came out, basically. I thought it was like part of the dial.
Yeah, that would be really bad if they did that.
Right. Yeah.
Just because it would be
somebody just read
stupid,
it
not
and let
make
her
any
out. Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Well, not even that. It
All
was
right.
just
Yeah. I just forgot that
to
that
the
was
story
covered
and
in
the source
blood.
material. I mean, they've already
Yeah.
done enough. But I would
So
be
like
weird
she
just
went
to
up
put that on
there with her finger and like drew it out after he got out. Wait, I just gotta do something. Really.
She comes out. She's got the hand ready to go.
I know. It's like sideshow Bob.
This is my poetry hand.
Use a pen, Lanfear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we learn
reference.
nothing else about Lanfear later on, it's that she has a flair for the dramatic.
Yes.
So
that's true.
Almost to a confounding point. Well, we'll get into that though in a bit. Should we start? Let's start with the land story because it's the worst one. So Lan is now with Alana and her two orders, Ivan and Maxim, at Alana's house or family's house. She mentions that Nynaeve's going through the arches or will be going through the arches. So again, is this happening then prior to Nynaeve going through the arches? Or
No.
is this just like the word travels slowly by horseback?
She knew she was going through the arches.
She knew she was going through. She doesn't know it's...
Oh, that's right. She does.
When she left, they had yet to approve it. And one of the reasons that Sheriam was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't leave is because all of Liandrin's people were pretty much going to be calling the shots on that. And if she wanted to argue against Nynaeve going through the arches, that was her only shot.
Yeah, we didn't meet Liandrin's people yet. I'm
not gonna, buddy. Let it go.
Well, I think
they're not in this episode.
Be like this.
There are other Aes Sedai, though. We did see a couple other Aes Sedai in the background. So.
That's true.
You get the sense that the people in that scene, in that scene in the courtyard, that everyone but Sheriam and Alana were Liandrin's people.
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't get that impression. I mean, only one other one talks, so I have no idea who those people are. And to be honest,
it's true.
I don't even know who the person is who talks necessarily, because they never... Do they say her name at all? Does anybody say...
Well, it's in the closed caption.
Oh, in the
I think we know who she is, but like...
Yeah. So...
It's not like very clear to the rest of...
Who knows? Maybe they are part of Liandrin's cabal, or maybe they're just other Aes Sedai.
I love that word.
Know.
Good word.
I have a feeling we'll find out.
I think Alana saying Nynaeve's going to go through the arches is just because, as far as Alana knows, it hasn't happened yet. Not because this takes place in the past. Although this is the episode where the timeline really starts to go off the rails.
Oh yeah.
So
there's a lot of time things in this episode that are pretty baffling. Then there's a conversation between Lan and Maxim about the water bond, and they're very confusingly talking about masking, and Alana masks him or has been masking him. And then so Lan says something here. He says, or implies that Moraine's been masking his bond for the last 6 months. I don't remember if we talked about this last time.
I think we did.
Confused about what's going on, or is he covering for Moraine? I forget. Did we ever talk? I know we talked about this, like whether or not like Alana and them all know that she can't channel.
I don't think they know. It seemed like they think she just like masked it or took it away or something, and she like is getting rid of him and some like I don't think that they have any idea what actually happened because they don't know that.
So
they don't know anything.
So Land is covering for her then when he's saying
yes,
I think so.
Well, I don't know that he's covering for her. She did mask the bond. She masked the bond before she went into the blight, and now presumably can't unmask it because she doesn't have her powers.
Yeah, but he doesn't say anything. He implies that she's actively masking it on purpose. Like that's what I get from.
Yeah, I think it's a lie of omission. He's kind of not I don't think he thinks it's his business to like say that she's been stilled.
Well, then he would have to explain how, or I
Right.
guess there would be too many questions.
We did have this conversation because
Yeah,
it was
I feel
very
like we did.
confusing on who knows that Moraine can't channel. Like we have no idea.
Remember, she doesn't even right. I mean, I don't know if like I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anyone else knows that that's the case because she's persona non grata. Then like they wouldn't. Varen knows, but they're retired.
No.
They know, but they're retired, right? They're out of the tower.
Yeah.
Like still, people are like,
yeah,
you're no longer really an Aes Sedai anymore, right? I don't know if Alana would help her out if that were the case.
Well, she implies that she's been friends with Moraine for a long time. She talks about there's that whole conversation shortly after this one. Actually, it's right after this one, right? Where she talks about something happened to Moraine 20 years ago and it changed her. Right? That whole conversation takes place.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lan, let's pretend Lan's covering for Moraine, and that's why he said that.
Okay.
Lan has a conversation with Yvonne about nothing really, but that's all just a
ruse.
It's all a ruse because Alana and Maxim are going into Lan's room to find the poem that we were talking about before, and I know we talked about this last time, but I don't remember where we ended up with
that line.
Yeah, Lan must not know who it's about. Is it like he mustn't know who it's about?
Because he must not know. We can't tell him.
Yeah, like the first one implies that she's like, oh, it's Lan. There's no way he knows what this is about, otherwise he wouldn't have it.
Right.
Or the other one must be like,
we can't tell him.
He doesn't know yet what it's about, so we can't tell him. I'm still not sure.
Well, I would say this, based on like the fact that they are very suspicious of the fact that he may be, a dark friend. After this, like, I think I lean more towards the doubt, like he must just have this on him and not know what it's like that. I think it's more that reading now.
That's what I thought.
But then why do they immediately think that he's a dark friend?
Yeah, like
they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that.
I think it's like, yeah, but like, why else would he have this, right?
I think, yeah, it's why else would he have this? And as I think we've probably discussed before, I know we have. These people are engaged in a prolonged war for the existence of the universe against the forces of darkness. So they're probably justifiably paranoid about everything.
So you think it's the second then? You say think it's the second, like he doesn't know what this is, as opposed to that's the first one, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I think if there's even a chance he knows what it is, they have to treat it that way until they have direct proof that he's not, especially since he's acting so weird and Moraine's acting so weird and nobody really knows what's going on with anyone.
Unless she's just like Lan, like she's trying to like convince herself, but she doesn't really believe it. Like Lan must not know what it's about, right? And then they're all like, he has to, like it's like one last ditch effort to like not believe that it's true, but there's nothing. You know what I mean? Maybe it's like that. I don't know.
That's a third. Yeah, that's a third interpretation.
Third option.
Okay.
This is also the point where they find it and then they show it to Maxim or possibly Yvonne. I never remember which one is which. And then he reads it solely for our benefit.
Yes. Yvonne reads it.
Yeah. Reads it out loud, even though they just showed it to them. They know what it says. That's for us. It's only for us.
Maybe Maxim can't read, Brendan. You don't know that. And Yvonne's reading it for him.
That's true. That's true.
What,
Maxim's like, there's a poem in here, Alana. I don't know what it says.
Well, wait a second.
I can tell
wait a second.
I don't even know what language this is.
It is in the old tongue, though. So this is like an ancient language. So maybe Maxim cannot read it.
He is young, right?
I'm sorry.
They called him young and stupid earlier in this episode. So.
If he can't read it, he doesn't know it's a poem.
Right.
Period. If he can't read, if it's a language he can't read, if it's a language he can't read, it's just lines on a piece of paper. There's no way he knows it's a poem if he can't read it.
I didn't remember him saying. Sorry, I didn't realize he said it was a poem. Maybe Alana.
Frankly, it's weird that they keep calling it a poem. Like that part for some reason. Like it's.
Well, what would I understand call it? Like maybe they were trying to think of something else to call it.
It's not like it feels like it should be a spell, but it's not a spell because A, it doesn't do anything.
Incantation.
And B, they don't have those here.
It did do something though. In the cold open, Ishamael says, isn't that what Ishamael says?
Yeah, but I don't think that
doing it.
Yeah,
I don't think that's like I don't think the word. I think he's just doing that and saying the
dramatic effect.
I think he's
just. Well, yeah, I hope he is because I mean then it breaks the rules of the books and the magic system.
Yeah, I think they went on credit. They went on on the record saying that that's just him. It has nothing to do with the magic. It's just him talking.
Dramatic effect.
For the rest of him, he just pushes the seals over. He doesn't even use the one power.
Maybe he's quickly doing all the poems as he breaks the rest of the map.
Yeah,
you don't know.
A poem for each one. We get a poem.
He's like, I don't feel like channeling, so I'm just going to do this.
Hold on the water spout. But
he does it. It's a Bitsy Spider.
That's Smogedian's poem at the end.
So that's Land's story. Do we want to talk anything more about this story?
There's I have to say it.
Go for it.
This is at least our third time talking about it. I am still genuinely in awe that they got the line, where does the third one go?
Oh, I love that.
Past Amazon censors or standards and practices, whatever it is. Like I knew it was coming and I was still like, Jesus, I cannot believe.
I think it's
Alana's reaction to it too. She's just like, you know where it goes.
Yeah. It's her nose, right? That's where it goes.
Oh, jeez.
I think that's
I don't think that's
veiled enough, Brendan, that it's okay because any young kids have no idea what you're talking about. So
of course, yeah. But still, yeah. I just.
Like where your room's not big enough.
I mean, they're really laying the I think any scene that Alana is in or Alana and her water are in, they must remind us that all three of them have sex a lot. Every scene that they're in.
Yes, they must remind us.
Yes,
keep reminding us.
We get it.
Keep reminding. Right? No. Just for those of you in the back.
Unless they're going to have sex in every scene that they're together, then that's a different story. But they do remind us a lot. Don't forget.
What if you start with this episode? Like, how would you know?
Right.
Well, how would you know anything else in the show? Like, you watch the recap.
There's only one thing you need to know.
They just put it in the recap every time. It's just
doing it well. That's all you need to know.
Just put that in every recap.
Listen, and we're getting ahead of ourselves, but in the next episode or the next episode plus one, those three constantly boning actually is part of their plan to deceive Land. So we need to have that context.
That's right. We need to know. We need to be reminded all the time. I'm going to jump over to let's talk about Perrin. We find out he's a wolf brother. There's a name for what he is. Elias is a jerk for more times.
Yeah.
But we learned a little bit. We learned about how they can communicate. They can send images to each other to see. And Perrin's been sending images to Elias and the wolves, and they were the ones, like Elias was with the wolves that rescued him and Egwene from the White Cloaks in season 1, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the wolves probably had to talk him into it.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to really want to.
He's like, I got you out, right?
Be with Perrin. Yeah, he's like, you're not in chains, are you?
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Let everybody else, every single other person in the town get captured or killed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
my traveling companions were killed, a bunch of them, and captured. Yeah. I guess they don't count. Well, he does say, like, he doesn't really care about humans.
He doesn't. He's a wolf. He only cares about wolves.
I mean, Elias is like, it's like training a new person at work. Like, hey, there's this new hire. We need you to sit with them for a while, show them the ropes, let them know what's going on. And like, you'll do it. You don't have to like, you're not going to be best friends with this guy, but he's got to know, show him what to do and then move on.
The office is going to burn down. You're like, I better save that guy I'm training, but nobody else. I'm not going to let anybody else know it's on fire.
My boss would be really pissed if I let the new hire die.
Right.
Get captured by some weird sailors.
Yeah. But the new hire's friends, I don't give a shit about the new hire's friends. Who cares?
That's true. All right. That makes sense. You got me, Brendan. You got me on that now. We got Elias eating some raw meat. I have a new question about this part. He presumably then eats raw meat a lot. Do you think part of being a wolf brother is like you're immune to things like E. coli and other raw meat diseases?
Is there E. coli in this universe?
I don't know.
On the world, on
presumably
the earth,
you still have to cook your food to eat. Well, you don't have to, but presumably like eating raw food is probably not so healthy for you in this world.
So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it's part of his wolfy abilities. Is
he has like wolf secretions in his stomach?
Yeah, wolf digestion powers. I feel like we're coming up with really good drops this episode. I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good one. Wolf digestion powers. There's a great line though. So this episode's pretty well written. I will say that this might be one of the more well written episodes. It's again, I'm just going to say it, like we're really getting far off from the books as these episodes go on, and this one's very off book, but it's well written and there's a lot of good scenes, individual scenes in it. Kind of like you said, Brendan, with the last episode, or was that two episodes ago where you thought like,
it was the last episode.
You thought there was a lot of great individual scenes, but it didn't come well together as an episode. I kind of feel that way about this episode. I think the writing's good and there's some really good acting in these, and we're going to get to like some of the best acting in the episode. But there's a great line in here that Elias says, because Perrin's like, why didn't you like reach out to me or talk to me earlier? And he says, I said, I don't trust what they don't understand. Right? Because Perrin was traveling with Moraine. And then he says, neither does any human. So that kind of, it almost feels like this is why I'm kind of being a jerk to you. Or this is why I'm what I am. I don't know. I thought it was a good line.
Yeah, any line that kind of implies, hey, I've been through some things. There's a backstory here. Like, I like stuff like that. And you don't need to have a whole scene of like, when I first became a wolf brother, my town chased me out or whatever. It's just like, look, I stay away from people because it's better for everyone if I do. They don't want me around anyway.
Mm. I think he's saying he's scared of them, not that they don't want him around. I think he's worried that they're going to try to capture him and start trying to like study him like he's an alien or something like that.
Or kill him like he's a monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like we haven't seen tons of superstitious or justitious fools here in the universe. So yeah.
We got some quick Matt and Min scenes. They go to this tavern.
The Min stuff is cool.
At the Kyrianan countryside. There's a lot going on in the Kyrianan countryside in this episode. So
the scene's not bad. It's just like nothing scene, but it's not bad.
I didn't say it was bad.
On the subject of the Matt scene, and also like, to be honest, kind of the parent stuff. Like if they had literally had Marcus Rutherford and Donalfin come out on a stage at the start of the episode, like, hi, we're Matt and Perrin, we're major characters in this story, but we don't really have anything to do this episode, so we'll see you next week. Like, it would have accomplished the same thing that the scenes that
Perrin
that those scenes.
It's almost
the wolves a little bit.
It's kind of odd that like two of the most main characters in the story have gotten so little screen time so far in these both seasons. But yes, Brendan, it is. It's like, hey, by the way, I'm here. Don't forget me.
Right. Hey, remember Matt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like that, especially so. I think that's the thing that frustrates me most about this scene. That is that, like, it literally looks like, well, we gotta just put him in. I mean, he's gonna do stuff later. People gotta remember that he's around.
Yeah.
He's traveling. They're putting this in to make sure everyone understands the time passage and the traveling. They've gone from the White Tower now down to Kyrian, which I don't know how long it takes. It's not Kyrian's probably the next closest city.
Yeah, well,
Faldar, maybe Faldar is closer, but it's not that far from the White Tower.
When Ishamael says, "Take him to Kyrian," does she say, "We're in"? Do you mean Kyrian the country or Kyrian?
Yeah, she's like, "We're in
city because we're already in Kyrian." Is that? Can I leave him here?
Yeah, he's here. He's already here.
So he's here. We're here. That's where we are.
No, I don't mean New York. I mean New York, not New York. New York.
Right.
Oh, okay. Kyrian City.
This scene is written too as if like there's not much. Like whatever stated in the scene has already been said before in other scenes, and then it is like filler. Like Ishamael's like, "Did you think an Aes Sedai could take away your visions?" Like, what? Okay, you're just filling kind of time with some of these lines, but
I mean, even the stuff that, and well, like I said, the Min stuff is. I actually totally forgot about the setup for that. Like Min's little nightmare about when she was forced to be a fortune teller,
yes,
and having to see people's horrible futures. I had completely forgotten about that. But it's such filler to the point where Ishamael says his lines from the season or from the episode 1 cold open all over again about what he's called. Like his various names.
Yes, he does.
He likes saying
like
it.
They didn't even write him new dialogue. He just says the same thing. Like
copy and paste.
I think that scene is important. That little scene is important for Min, so we know that Min is not like working with them. Like it was you kind of knew it from her, like with Liandrin. Like she's not too happy about this, but like this is like for sure. She's like, I don't want to do this, and he's like, well, you're gonna. Because I'm a Ishamael and you don't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're also trying to move Matt along.
They are, but like Min's not a bad character. This is just like a horrible situation that she got herself into. I think that
we get a lot of that later, though. I think we get a good amount of that later when she, tells him not to go and she kind of
but
now she knows like how serious this is. Not just like this is like almost the worst thing ever, except if like the actual Dark One had told her to.
Yeah, it's like she's kind of got a little Ingtar thing going there. Yeah, she has an Ingtar thing going there, right? Where she's okay. You heard me. You said who, didn't you?
I was being sarcastic. You're like that's like not in the show. I don't really.
Oh. Ingtar's in the show.
Ingtar's in the show,
for a little while longer, at least. Yeah, that's Matt and Min.
Check.
You want to go to the White Tower?
Sure.
See a little aftermath of the of Nynaeve's accepted test. She doesn't seem to be coping well. They got her a new ring, whether it was made from that little bowl or they had spare rings somewhere else, but she does have her new ring, and Egwene was excited.
They changed this scene.
They changed it?
This scene is different.
Oh, didn't this scene have a weird cut?
Very slightly different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got rid of that weird cut.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, Brendan, I forgot that this was the scene that had that weird cut.
They did.
The Gollum.
Yeah, the Gollum
cut. They fixed it.
The Bilbo cut, yeah.
The Bilbo cut, yes.
Yeah.
Not Gollum.
Like I watched it 4 or 5 times, and then like I actually went back and listened to our episode about this from the first time because like maybe it was a different thing. It was so confusing. Like they changed. They put a different reaction shot, a more natural.
Explain. People in chat don't know.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
People who haven't watched the show
when it originally aired, there's a scene. There's a bit where after Egwene is like trying to console Nynaeve a little bit, she sees that Nynaeve has her new accepted ring, I guess, and she like goes to look at it, and Nynaeve recoils. And in the original version of the show that was released, the shot after Nynaeve recoils from Egwene's touch is just the same shot again. of Egwene going for it, but cut a little shorter, so it looks like she stops herself. And I remember when we watched it the first time and we talked about it the first time, it was so weird. It was like such a glaring repeated cut, or like a repeated shot.
Yeah.
And obviously it stuck out because it's over a year later and I still remembered it.
No,
but
I
they fixed
remember
it. It looks like Egwene reaches for the ring, Nynaeve backs up, and then Egwene there's a new shot. It's a new angle, not a new angle, but it's like she does something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad they fixed it. Yeah, I forgot about that, Brendan. And I forgot about it, I guess, because it's gone now. I didn't see it but I do remember that. And I do remember it being like a weird cut.
Yeah.
So it was good that they're able to fix that, though.
Can we talk about Nynaeve's room and how it's like really nice, except one whole wall has like holes in it, and there's no privacy at all, just like right out onto the hallway. It looks like it's like doors? A screen. There's a door, but like the back wall, like in the scene, it's like that screen material almost, where there's like little holes.
Is
you
that
can see into the hallway.
The other side?
Yeah, like the hallway with the outside past it, but it's weird. I don't know. To me, it looks like you can just see into her room.
And then it's.
I don't know.
Open
maybe
air or is
it looked like a hallway, like that people could like walk by. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well, look, they thought she was.
I guess the new ones get an ocean view.
They thought the arches ate her, so when she came back, they was like, "Oh shit, we got to find her a room."
maybe there's curtains she can close when she wants to change and not be seen.
Maybe. Okay.
I don't know. I didn't notice
I'm just
that.
Nitpicking.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what we do here.
I know.
So, Egwene. Oh no, it's later in the next scene, right? There's Elaine and Egwene are having a conversation. What are they mopping? I think they're mopping.
They don't know how to mop.
Yeah, I remember Sarah. I had a note from last time.
Yeah.
Sarah was like, someone needs to teach them how to mop.
They mop and then walk into the place that they just mopped.
Yeah, they need a mopping consultant for this scene.
I don't know.
But I
guess we can't like back up while you're doing a scene. I don't know. You have to walk backwards when you're mopping, kind of. So.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Whatever.
I don't remember this. Egwene though says she's still in love with Rand, right? Well, she doesn't say I'm still in love with Rand. She says that I lost like the one person that I love the most or something like that. Nynaeve helped her win that. So it sounds like she's still really very much in love with Rand, even though she dumped him and then he dumped her.
We're going to do this again.
Every time.
Gonna do this again.
Well, the point is she's still very much in love with him.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to point out.
Okay. Well, he's dead to her, so she's in love with a dead person who's dead.
Not dead to her in the way like where she's like, "You're dead to me."
You're dead to me.
And
opener.
It's more like the way like I think you're dead, but you're not.
No, he's dead. She's in love with his memory right now, and then by the time she sees him again, she's a completely different person.
Right. She's in love with the memory of Rand al'Thor.
This is one of the points where the timeline really starts to fall apart for me, because and we haven't gotten to the Rand stuff yet, but based on what's happening with Rand, this episode is taking place several hours at most after the end of the previous episode, or at least that's when it's starting. And
really,
Egwene, if their timelines are the
next
same.
Day, I think we talked about this too. I'd say it's at least the next day, if not like this could be even like days later.
But
Rand's cleaning up the fire.
Rand,
like the next morning.
Rand's cleaning up, and it's still small.
Oh, for Rand, you mean? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So like, meant for Nynaeve and the accepted test. I thought you were talking about that.
Right, but for Nynaeve and Egwene and everybody else, it's not clear how long ago she came out of the Arches.
Right.
And lacking any other specifics about that, like it seems like, well, that just happened to her yesterday. And Egwene seems baffled about why she's still all messed up to the point where it makes Egwene seem kind of dumb.
Well,
I want
to say something about that though, because if she gets the ring I imagine she gets the ring like almost as soon as they figure out that she's come out. She's supposed to get the ring the second she came out.
Yeah.
So it probably is like the next day, and because that looks like it's Egwene's first time seeing the ring.
Maybe Egwene hasn't been there
And
though in a couple. Maybe Nynaeve's been ghosting her.
Maybe, but like I don't. And later she says like I don't even know what happened. Elaine says you don't even know what happened in there.
Yeah.
So Egwene could be like, oh, it's fine. It was, and she's like consoling her later, like, don't worry, it wasn't real. And then you could see Nynaeve is like, this is making it worse. Like, the more you say it wasn't real, it's like making it worse. And
she's
like,
definitely making it worse.
She's like, that's not what I want you to, I don't think that Egwene has any idea that she's been in there for 6 years raising a fam. Like,
no, she doesn't
know that. And she would never, and Nynaeve obviously hasn't told her. So,
but
I think it could be like 1 to 2 days later.
So I think you're right. I think it probably is like the next day. And I don't, I like, that's why I like the writing in this scene, because there's such good writing in like these parts when he says, don't worry, it wasn't real. Like, it's like, no, that's so much worse. And you see it on Nynaeve's face. But
I do love too how I'll finish your thought and then I will.
No, I was going to say, right. So nobody knows what happened in there, but Thirsty Water knows that she channeled in there. And I think, Tom, you talked about this last time. I wanted to just remind everybody what you had to say about it.
I heard you channeled in the Arches, Bay. That's right. He's the best character in the show, and I hope he comes back every season. I think that, things like that get around because that's not, like, no one knows what happened, but, like, they know that happened.
That she got out she channeled to get out.
She channeled to get herself.
Even though I still debate that because it doesn't look like she channeled. There was no indication that she channeled when that thing opened.
I think
putting that on our question list.
Oh, put it on the question
immediately.
list.
So I think she does like the big channeling burst, right?
Kill the Trollocs.
Kill all the Trollocs. Then the thing opens up, and I would say the only reason I think that. We talked about this a lot. We didn't talk about it last week. We talked about it a lot when we first did this. Like, watching this episode and like people knowing that about the thing, right? And the fact that you have in the last episode, like Egwene's trying to activate them herself, and Elaine's like, "You need 3 people to do it. Like, you can't do it."
Yeah,
and that's how strong Nynaeve is. That regular Aes Sedai need 3 people. She can just.
From the outside. From the outside, you need 3 people. Nobody knows.
She's the strongest channeler in 1,000 years.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I think that like it's just another another miracle thing that Nynaeve has done. Right?
Okay. So I think what we're all saying is, or at least you're saying, and I think I'm saying the same thing, is that she either mentioned that, like, when they said, how did you get out of there? She said something about channeling, or they're just assuming that she channeled to get out of there because
I don't think they're assuming.
Because
they told us she wasn't going to be able to channel in there.
Yeah, I think there may even be like a way to say like there may be a way to detect like that the channeling was coming from inside the arches. Like,
the channeling, it's coming from inside the arches. Get out.
Right. So,
I still think that the archers are sentient, and when they felt how powerful she was, they knew that they had to bring her back.
Yeah, and
again, let her die in there.
There was an arch conversation.
The archers were like, "Oh shit, we got to power back on."
I mean, and data second chat. I think one of you said it too. Like, she could have just told them like that, like, how'd you get out, and that's like all she's gonna tell them.
Well, then I guess that would solve the mystery of how did that arch open that she channeled it. Because I still don't think it was very clear on the show that it was channeling.
No.
Okay. I thought the arches opened when they did because that was the plan the whole time.
See?
Like that was
No, but then they wouldn't.
But that was the test. That was the whole thing.
The whole thing was the test.
No, but the whole thing with Shiriam packing up her stuff and saying she was dead on the other side.
No.
But
that's not how it works.
The archers powered down. Remember
they left.
And then the ice. So theoretically, if you're thinking about the rules, right? 3 people need to channel to power the arches. Yeah, the arches, right? Something happens and the arches power down, and then the Aes Sedai leaves. So they shouldn't be able. I mean, I don't think they know if nobody's channeling into it, like what happens on the inside. Like, do the people on the inside die or cease to exist, or are they just trapped in their little mirror world?
I think if Nynaeve came out of that and the 3 Aes Sedai were still there, then it would have been part of the test.
Yes, I agree.
But because of what was happening on the other side, that they were like, her ring, we're burning her ring, she's gone, she's dead. This has happened before. People just don't come out. And then she came out like a day later. Like that's
never happened before.
Yeah.
That assumes that the arches follow the rules that the Aes Sedai have made up for how the arches work, which they say flat out they don't know where the arches came from and they don't really know how they work.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I will say,
I think we need to remember, because it doesn't come up that much, Nynaeve is the most powerful channeler that the Tower has seen in 1,000 years.
Right.
So the rules probably don't necessarily apply to her the same way that they do to everybody else.
Yeah. Again,
like the arches don't care about anybody else that went in there except Nynaeve.
The way back comes.
They let her out. They allowed her to come
except
out.
for Nynaeve.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yes, they let her come out, but they let her come out in the way that they had always planned to. Nynaeve's whole ordeal in there was what it was always going to be.
Oh, I will say this: that's not what it is in the books. I mean, her experience.
This doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. It's different.
Yeah, her experiences are different in the books. She does miss the third arch. She misses the chance to go through it. She gets stuck there and then channels open the arch, which has never been
stuck there for like 5 minutes, though.
But she's not there for 6 years. Yeah, she's there for a little while.
Like it goes away and then it comes back like immediately.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it's like it's not even like really. It's not like it's gone. There's no part in the books where they're like, oh, it's over, she's gone. Yeah. It's just like from her point of view, she sees the arch, she ignores it, then she's like, wait, no, that's the arch. Let me bring it back. Yeah. But I think both things might be right here. I agree with Brendan that and we talked about this at last episode, that arch flickering quickly is almost like a blind, right? It's not like a real end of test thing for her. But her test requires her using her power to reactivate the arches for it to come back. I think that she has to be able to tap into that in order for her to complete her test. It's not just this unbelievably difficult emotional journey that the arches make her go on. It's also this, can you tap into your full potential again? Yeah. Otherwise,
right.
Even if you pass the emotional test, you still fail the test because you can't get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think we can confirm that this has never happened before in the show. This has never happened before as well.
That anyone
that the arches powered down and then somebody came back after that happened.
No, shut the ball down.
Yes.
Well, in the show, I mean, this is the only time we've seen it in the show. It's not like this is a recurring thing.
No, I mean, from the Aes Sedai
I see what you're saying. Okay,
they've never had that happen when they've been tested.
Right. They're like, and the Aes Sedai, as the show also doesn't really tell us enough. Aes Sedai are just right all the time and never get shit wrong.
Well, they've witnessed thousands of people go through that thing. So yeah. I'm just saying from what they've experienced, that's never happened before. I'm not saying it can't happen. It clearly can. I'm just saying they've never seen it happen before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and let's get back to episode 4.
Yeah.
There's a short scene here between Liane and Liandrin, a little bit of sass going back and forth between the two of them.
Yeah. What's the point of going in there? Is it just to threaten Liane? Like, what does the letter say that Liandrin gets?
That's about invaders in the West, or
Right, but
whatever.
she should know about the invaders from the West already, right?
No,
she
From,
does.
Like,
You don't think it's like a
Is it
letter from Soroth or Shamael, maybe?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I think. But like, what does it actually say? Does it say like, bring them now?
Probably bring those two.
And then, like,
bring the two girls.
Okay, and then like,
Or the one
then
girl.
right
They
after
only
that is
wanted
when
to
she
bring-
tells. No, she wants Egwene too.
You think she
just
does?
assumes 90. Yeah, absolutely. Because she tells Elaine she's a complication, and she doesn't say anything about Egwene. I think she just assumes that Nynaeve is going to bring Egwene.
Elaine's a complication because she's the daughter heir. If Egwene,
right, but she's also not supposed to be there.
No, I know. What I'm saying is like, even if Egwene wasn't supposed to be there,
Right,
she's
yeah.
not a complication.
Not a
because
complication.
if she disappears, nobody's going to care.
Right, I guess. But I want to know why she goes in to talk to Liane about this. Is she like?
I think it's just set up, right, for the what's going to happen. Like you said, there's people in the West. Like, what's going on with Swan? Where's she? Like, hey, don't forget.
Like for
there's-
us.
It also
Okay.
establishes
For our
that. It also
benefit.
establishes. It also establishes that there's at least one Aes Sedai already there,
Yeah.
who we
Yeah.
meet
So it's
later.
for us. Okay.
There's another Aes Sedai.
It's
They
it's
make
Chekhov's yellow.
Yeah.
they make reference to, I don't know if it's Liane or Liandrin, but like the others, like Liandrin's other Aes Sedai friends. We never meet these friends, by the way. We haven't met them yet. We hear a lot about them. I'm starting.
Well,
to think
you
they're
see
not
some
real.
of them in season 1. They're hanging
Yeah,
out
she's
with
got
them.
a team.
That's right. I forgot about that. The sitters
Team
over
Red.
there. We haven't seen them. Team Red. Yeah, I think this is just like a reminder exposition scene for the viewers. Like, hey, don't forget, there's an Amerlin. Where has she been? Oh, you want to know where she is? So do we.
Yeah, I think
that's really
people in chat are saying too. It's also possibly like she's trying to find out if like the Amerlin's going to be back soon, just to make sure like she doesn't have to alter any plans
Oh yeah,
for
she's
that
sussing things
for that
out.
contingency. Yeah, and that's good insight.
We get a scene then with Liandrin and Nynaeve. Another scene between the two of them sharing a moment. There's a lot of these so far this season.
Yeah.
This raised a question for me that I don't think we've discussed. Liandrin talks about how she kept her son in Tarvalon his whole, for what sounds like his whole life, and he's in his 90s, and she's kept him in, to have him close so she could have something that was like just purely hers. And there's no answer to this. Like they don't talk about this. Are we to assume that her son has always been like bedridden, or
I was
like
kind of thinking the same thing. Like, why didn't
like he doesn't go off and have his like he doesn't go to school? He doesn't
because she
have a
says
wife
like,
and like
I kept him here. Like she needed to take care of him, or
I just thought it was more along the lines of like I kept him here without anybody knowing that he was here. Like,
or maybe like
I kept him close to me because this is where I am, and I wanted him here.
why didn't he ever want to do anything else? I think I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
He never wanted
yeah,
to
like
a
he
mama's
never, like did he actually like become a
he-
contributing member to society? Did he have a job in Tarvalon where he like did worked or whatever, or was she just taking care of him the whole time?
I mean, honestly, I get the impression that no, he didn't leave that house really because no one could know who he was or where he
Shut
came
in?
from. Yeah,
Wow,
you're mine. You're nobody else's. Like
Boo Radley.
yes, exactly like Boo Radley.
he was Boo Radley.
Okay.
This is a crossover.
All right, I can live with that.
You didn't know the Wheel of
Liandrin
Time
Radley.
is the same universe as To Kill a Mockingbird? Same universe.
The South.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Brendan, there's that line you mentioned where she talks about like having something to hold on to. And I think Nynaeve asks her if she's found something else to hold on to. And like knowing now what we already knew, it's like, yeah, do you think that other thing, a piece that she's holding on to now is being evil?
I think she always had being evil.
Yeah, we don't know how long, but yeah.
Yeah, seems like a pretty long time.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like she's new to this.
I also feel like if I'm right in my no, you're staying in this house. You're mine.
Yeah.
That's not good parenting.
No, that's some Hansel and Gretel
It's
shit.
like Room,
really,
that
it's-
movie Room with
Yes.
with Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Yeah, except the mom didn't.
Except yeah.
She was also in the room.
She was also yes, similar to that.
Well, no, she's a Liandrin. And
Right,
Liandrin has a baby.
It's like flat flowers in the attic. Is that the one where right?
Chud.
The kids have to
Chud 2?
Chud. It's Chud 2. Yes.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's what it is. Yeah. and then we get Liandrin setting Nynaeve up. This is where it went right to commercial. Like literally cut right into the scene. I got a commercial, which was terrible. Terrible cut. Yeah. Now we know that whole conversation, and then she's like, okay, now I'm gonna set you up to get captured and enslaved. And then we get that towards the end. But we do have an Elaine Egwene scene. They're doing some more drinking. Nynaeve comes in and is like, get the fuck out, Elaine. I don't care. It's your room.
I love when she's like, I've been looking for you everywhere. Like, where? You looked everywhere else except, like, right next door to her room. I don't know.
Yeah, her friend's room.
Thing to say,
It's right next door
she only
to
has one other friend other than you. Maybe you should check there. Sorry.
I've been paying attention to you months since she showed up, so I didn't realize she existed.
Yeah. Oh, who are you? Oh, get up.
Get out of your own room.
Yeah.
Egwene's really hard on herself. She's like, if I would have trained or learned, I could have been able to help at the Eye. And I'm thinking, you weren't even at the Eye, though. It's not like you were there and you couldn't help. You weren't there. That was the books, Egwene. That was the books you're thinking of.
Well, I think she's saying if
she would have gone after him, maybe. I don't know.
Or Maureen would have taken her if she had been trained and capable of helping.
Oh, she certainly didn't have any impact by killing an army of Trollocs. You know, that could have destroyed.
Well, it was more passive than anything else.
She's like, I should have been at the Eye and let all those people die.
Yes, they deserve
maybe if
to
she
die,
wasn't there,
and I hope to burn in hell.
Amelisa would have only taken Nynaeve's power and wouldn't have burned out. Because it wouldn't have been like all of that power.
Yeah, but remember, we like Nynaeve dying there.
Nynaeve did die.
I think the official talk around position is probably could have died.
She should have died there.
Yeah.
Oh, would have been more interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of like Nynaeve dying here.
There it is.
There it is.
I stand by it.
As you should.
And then we get the line right there. Yes, I'm following you.
Yeah, that was
my
pretty.
favorite.
It's like there's parts of
Obviously.
following you, obviously.
Obviously, I'm following you.
I love the confidence of these three young women in very basic cotton dresses with very little control over their magical abilities. Just like, we're gonna go to the other side of the world and save our two friends from.
Well, that's what Nynaeve says.
We'll come up with a plan on the way.
We'll come up with a plan on the way. Like,
she basically says, she comes in and says, Perrin and Loyal have been captured by these invaders. I'm gonna go free them. It's like,
right.
Okay, you're gonna go free them from a whole group of invaders.
I'm sure I can find them.
Don't come with me, Egwene. I'm going by myself. I don't want you to
I'm just gonna
come.
walk there.
Egwene, I don't need you. I'm the strongest channeler in 1,000 years.
All right, fine. You can come.
Just you.
We'll come up with a plan on the way.
It's just, and I want to be clear. I unironically love it. Like, it is like that's the fantasy genre in a nutshell. It's like, oh well, we got to go do it. Let's go save them.
Yeah, that's the event.
Can you tell anybody? No.
That's like if they stayed there, that would be the part.
Don't.
If they didn't do anything, that would be the part where the dungeon master goes, "You guys, this is the quest. We got to go. You guys want to do the quest?"
Right.
You're gonna stay. You're gonna stay. Oh, okay.
Well, there's a monster outside your bedroom. You can't get back in there.
Let's take a
What are you gonna do now?
A wind blows you in that direction.
Door shuts and locks behind you.
We're getting a little inside baseball even for us.
And then Liandrin says, "You're a complication." Looking at Elaine, and we're like, well, what's that mean? And then later on, we find out what it means. She's kidnapping them all. So
What if like they all died when she blew them into the wall and they
she
got
made
horrible head trauma?
Yeah.
No one on TV ever gets head trauma.
No,
it's
no,
amazing.
CTE. They all get CTE. That's later. Jen, you're spoiling it. That's for the spoiler conversation.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Shall we go over to Maureen?
Sure. A lot of people in this episode.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, and it's just
Maybe too many.
Perrin and Matt, hey, we're still here. They probably could have moved their stuff into like the next episode, but so we got Maureen. She goes home. She has a sister, Lady Anvers. Lady Anvers.
Where?
Yeah, we're really going off the tracks here with this whole story. But I think this continues the Moraine land story that just, is totally made up.
Anvers is great. I don't want to hear any sass back.
No, I'm sassing the story, not the acting and the actors, because this is the scenes between her and Moraine are some of the best scenes probably in the season, like acting wise.
Yeah.
They're really good scenes. I really like it.
I know we talked about it a lot in the first season because I think it was even more stark. But like every once in a while, like in these scenes here, it's like in the third Harry Potter movie, I think, when all the grown-ups get to act at the end and the kids just sit in the corner.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh yeah. this is what
that's
like real professional actors do.
Prisoner Azkaban.
Yeah. Exactly. The kids just sit over there, and all the grown-ups get that, and like it's like, oh yeah, like this is like it's almost like a different level of acting. And I think the performances in this season overall are very, very good from everybody. But there's some powerhouse stuff here. So,
but Moraine gets a bottle of Gildan red because she knows that's the stuff that Locaine likes, and heads on over, and we learn a little bit of information that Moraine is the one who had Locaine sent here.
Mm-hmm.
And that she obviously knew that Rand was here and Rand had met with him. And she's basically telling him that he needs to help Rand learn how to channel.
I hate this.
Which we learn later. He absolutely does not need to help Rand learn how to channel, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. I don't like this whole. The scene is good, but the story of like teach Rand how to channel and I'll let you kill yourself. Like nothing comes of it. Just like eaters out into nothing. It's stupid. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
doesn't land.
I'm going to talk more about that later.
Okay.
All right. We learned the name of the inn that Rand was staying at with Selene is called the Crescent. Crescent Moon. Daughter of the Night.
I don't know. It seems normal. It's normal. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no. Wait a second.
Yeah.
I think the guys that like build the floor that the Lanfear asked to build the floor, just like waiting around just to build the rest of the inn. She never comes back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No, she comes back.
She comes back. She comes back again. Pretty dramatically.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that'd be great if there was a scene of the guys building it and then it just gets blown up again. And they're like,
second time this week.
Yeah, just a running joke.
Like the contractors on the Death Star, those poor guys, just trying to get the job done.
Just trying to
put their families
together. Just trying to make a living, feed their families. Yeah. And then, Moraine's been dodging her sister, but her sister basically lays down the law and says, I'll tell you where that redheaded boy you're looking for is. Because all those people you were talking about that you think are your eyes and ears are my eyes and ears now, big sis. Which was a cool scene. I thought it was fun. We learned that her son is going to marry the queen, which is going to bring the family back into, I don't know.
Prominence and respectability.
Thank you, prominence and respectability. Yeah. And, And then the next time we see Moraine, she's sticking a sword in the back of Lanfear.
Had to be done.
It did. Yeah, I do think watching it again, this does a very good job, this episode, of just really like showing and telling this is what Carrion society is like the levels of like political manipulation and spying and like everything's a game within a game or whatever. You get a little taste of that when Rand goes to the party, but not really. And this is like where you start to see like, no, this is just their every day is like this all the time. Right?
Yeah.
I want to see the cut from like when Unfair is like, yeah, so he apparently went up to a cabin on top of a mountain with some woman he's been seeing with long dark hair. And Moraine's just like, shit, like grabs a sword and just goes fucking booking it up the hill.
Yeah. She didn't even have a horse.
She doesn't even have a horse. I know. She run.
They stole the horses from the stable, right?
Yeah. She just like runs.
Thought about that.
Way with a friggin' sword in her hand like this, and somehow gets up to the door and like quietly walks in with a.
Well, they're occupied.
It doesn't have to be that quiet.
I'm surprised she didn't run into Matt and Min. They were on the Kyrianic countryside too, and also Lan and Alana and they go there later, right? Next episode, I think.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
you're just like Moraine. Where you go?
The tea. No,
that's a good call, Jen. I didn't think about how she
it's really far. Maybe the horse. Maybe the horse died on the way.
Yeah.
She just ran it up, run up a mountain.
Like that Kate Bush song.
Yeah, running up that hill. All right, let's go over to Rand. We can wrap it up here. Rand is helping clean up the inn that he burned down.
Sorry about that.
Celine, there's still that question going on when Celine, took over the inn or whatnot. She, we know now it was at least 6 months ago, or only 6 months ago. Because
at most 6 months ago.
I guess if that scene in the beginning is about 6 months ago, then yes. So she went to town for and took over the inn. But now it's burned down. I have a question about don't forget, Celine has an ex-lover that she likes to talk about, because that happens again a couple times in this as well. What is Lanfear's plan? And don't tell me from the perspective of a book reader. From what you've seen and what you've seen in this season, what is her plan?
To make him fall in love with her.
Yeah.
So she's going to make him channel. And then, when he's channeling, she's standing behind him with absolutely no shock or expression on her face at all. This is what she wanted him to do. And, I don't know how she figured the Murdrall wouldn't kill him immediately, but...
Well, I think she'd step in if that were the case.
Well, but then he channels, and then she's like, she's manipulating him. Like, oh no, you know what? I love you anyway.
So her plan is to make him, and I'm not poking holes or knocking anything. So I just want to get straight in my head. So her whole plan is to make Rand fall in love with her, and then reveal herself, because that's what she was doing at the end to him. Right. And then.
I don't know.
If she was going to say I'm Lanfear, but she might have just been like, I'm also can channel, maybe?
She was explicitly describing herself as a monster.
Right. All right, so then maybe she figured she had manipulated him so hard that he saw that nobody would love him
hard. All night long hard.
Except her, even though he was a channeler. And
why does she keep talking about her ex in front of him then? Stop.
Maybe she's going to explain it to him. We're meant to be together. You're that guy. You're the Dragon Reborn.
You're that guy.
If she's going to say I'm Lanfear, she has to do the whole thing and say what it was.
She's really playing the long game here, but I like it.
I really love too when she says something about you're too young to have a romantic past or something, and he's like, you'd be surprised, and her face just like, don't say anything, don't say anything.
Oh yeah. Well, he also says to her, right, like you're the first person to see me as a man, and I was like, you saying Egwene saw you as a boy? She was
yes.
So she was having sex with a boy.
She's having sex with a boy that she grew up with.
Okay.
A kid she's known her whole life. He's not a man. He's Rand. I don't know. It's not like they like grow up together.
It's a little creepy.
She's the first person who met him as a grown man and went into a relationship with him. I think that's what he meant.
I'm not allowed to talk about Egwene.
She was with a boy, but like it's Rand. It's just like a kid that she knew. And now they're gonna get married. That's all.
I love.
Only they're not
the same.
They're not.
Only they're not.
Look, she's
probably not.
She's a career woman. It's fine. She don't knock her for that. She chose her career over.
Wait, you're mad that she broke up with him? Is that what we're getting?
We're not talking about.
What? No.
We're not talking about this. We're going to talk about the magic word.
We will again, but
we're going to talk
right
about
now.
the magic word that Rand says, love.
Yeah.
and Celine's face just like changes totally. She's like,
got him.
You love me?
Got him.
She goes from like being horrified.
I don't know if
I don't know
if that's Lanfear's. I don't know if that's. Yeah.
I think I'm on the same page. I think it's he got me. I think that's her face. Is like that beyond her wildest dreams.
Yeah.
Like that's what she's trying to do, but she couldn't dare to hope that it would work, you know? Because her biggest desire, one of two maybe, is for this to happen. Right?
Right, but now she knows that she's like clear for takeoff, basically.
Oh yeah.
Like you said it, 100%. This is the night we're going. That's it. Reveal. Everything's happening. It's all happening.
All of it.
Just cuts to Moraine. Keep going. You're gonna make it.
Right
on time.
and the Kate Bush song.
Lean me against a tree.
Drinking a Gatorade. Gotta have those electrolytes.
Oh my god.
So, like, what do you think she's channeling? While like, is that a costume reveal? Is that a like? Is she gonna like do something to him?
She's gonna take off her clothes and she's gonna be a bloody woman, like from the beginning. No, it's a good question. So
I don't know.
It's
on that subject.
I think what it is, and Brendan, let me just say this one thing.
Okay,
I think what it is she is channeling, and they're showing it it's showing it to you from Rand's perspective, right? Because normally we've seen the women channeling, we see the weaves, and I think this is supposed to be from Rand's perspective because he's saying like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" Or what? I don't remember if that's the exact phrase, but I think she's channeling, and he's either feeling the effects of it or seeing it a little bit. And that's what we're seeing. That's my guess.
I have a note about this because this has annoyed me the entire show, as you all know. He looks right at the weaves going around her body. He looks right at them.
You kind of see them. They're like
says,
shadowy.
Yes, you do see them and so does he. So.
But they're not the weaves that we normally see, is what I'm saying. I think he's seeing something, but he doesn't know what it is. Because, I mean, in theory, that he shouldn't be able to see the females weave, and that's what I think.
I think that's Brendan's annoyance. Like,
that's yes.
Well, maybe he can on the show. Like, maybe they could see it a little bit.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's
slightly,
what I think is happening.
but not like the full.
That's
which
what
is
I
fine
think
if they can do that on the show, right?
You can just see. When a woman channels, he just sees them start to kind of like blur and waver.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also on this, we kind of glossed over it, but when he fights the Fade, just by channeling without even apparently trying very hard, doesn't even use his hands.
Well,
take that, Egwene.
Just like summons this magic fire from the ether. And destroys this monster, and I found myself laughing thinking about some hypothetical Wheel of Time book fan sitting at home watching this, going, "Why didn't he use a sword?
He tried.
He tried using his sword, Brendan. Remember?
No, but I think Brendan's saying is like people are so upset that he's not sword fighting yet.
Yes.
He's blowing people up with fire. It's much more awesome.
Well, also because you mentioned before, Brendan, right? Like Moraine tells Logain to teach him how to channel.
Oh yeah,
you were saying,
like, yeah, he's good.
He's pretty good at it.
He's like, stay there, and then just
got it.
absolutely perfectly channels. Exactly
and then later on, he precision attacks. Does a precision attack against all those guys.
Kills like a dozen dudes.
Yeah.
And lets the one guy
Yes.
that's not a soldier live. Like that's when you talk about precision. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill. Boop, 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 boop. He's got Iron Man's targeting system up.
I don't know what's going on. You're burning down inns. You're magic missiling people.
Also, I'm sure we talked about this first time around, but I don't really remember. Why were they sleeping 10 feet from the door of the cabin outside?
Well, it
we
was more
definitely
like
talked about
50
it.
feet. But yes, Jen was like, Jen, you brought this up because you were like, why are they outside? That's
well,
so gross.
I think I have to accept that some people enjoy sleeping by a campfire. And I think
they were probably
safe.
cuddling by the campfire and just fell asleep. That's what I think happened.
Well, maybe she made that happen on purpose.
Yeah, well, she wasn't
that the
asleep because
Murdals
she
could
just
come.
woke up right in time to warn Rand about the
She's
fade.
laying there like,
To warn Rand about the fade that she invited.
yes.
yeah, that
Now
poor
listen-
Fade. I
now
feel bad for
listen.
that Fade. He had no
Just
idea
make
what
it
was
look
gonna
good.
happen. No, he
Right.
didn't know.
Let him win.
Come kill this guy. We got him. We got the Dragon aboard. We're going to kill him right now. It's going to be you. You're going to get promoted so high up the chain. You have no idea. Just get here at this time.
Oops.
It's going to be perfect.
First
Maybe
Lieutenant Fade.
Maybe Moraine hitched a
Fades
ride
care
with the
about-
fade.
Do the Fades care about whether or not they live or die? Like, is that
I mean,
Do they have-
not on the show because they don't speak, but in the book.
okay?
Yeah, they don't
They-
want to die. They definitely want to be
Right.
alive. They prefer to be alive.
I'm genuine. Okay.
Yeah, they're not. The show hasn't gotten into it really at all, other than the fact that they lead the Trollocs in battle. Like, they talk about that. Like they haven't gotten to the fact like, are they intelligent creatures? Are they just monsters? Do they have personalities? They have a lot of teeth. That's all we really know.
Yeah, that's not.
And they scream.
They make weird noises and
They can
a
move
lot
through
of
the
teeth.
shadows,
It's true.
which was cool again, seeing them come out of the shadow.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that was.
I don't. I want to be clear. I don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of showtime getting into Fade culture. I don't need
I
it.
do.
Fade culture.
Oh, you
I definitely do.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Fade
Fade
culture second album.
Yeah, right after the Casban line, Fade culture.
Fade culture.
Yeah.
Then
See?
rocket seeds.
Fucking seeds.
Rocket seeds. We got a whole album going here. Is there any? Did I miss anything? Is there anything anybody else wants to talk about before we go into our ratings?
I mean, we really didn't talk about. I mean, we talked about it, but we didn't like close with Moraine showing up and killing, not killing, but taking out Lanfear and then having it to run off.
100% not out of breath and ready to run right back down that mountain.
Yeah. It's like, I know the way. Don't worry. I just ran. Or maybe she
It'd be
took a
much
horse.
easier running
Maybe she
downhill.
rode to the stables and then went on foot the rest of the way because she wanted to be quiet.
Possible. I like that. I like that. She
There you
knows
go.
where the she's running to the stables where the horses are.
Yeah, she knows the
All
stables
right.
are there because she
Lock
rode
it
a
in.
horse there. And
Lock
then
it
she's
in.
like, I'm going to go on foot for the rest of the way because it's too.
I
Right.
have
The
to be
horse is
quiet. I
loud.
can't
Yeah,
ride a
quiet.
horse up.
Yeah. It's like when the police show up with their sirens blaring. It's like, why don't you guys just show up without the sirens
And
blaring?
roll up when you're dropping somebody off at their house. They were supposed to be home like an hour ago.
Yeah, kill the
You
lights,
just
put it in
coast
neutral.
up with the
Yeah.
the lights off.
Drop them off at the corner. Yeah, and then it looks like Lanfear is still alive, And-
Alive again.
and we end it.
Oh, still
we end it
alive
there.
after she got killed. I see.
I love the quick turn though when Rand like shoves Maureen with the one power, and then he's choking her, and he's like, "Oh, you killed her, whatever," and she's like, "That's Lanfear. I can't lie because I'm an Aes Sedai." And Rand's like,
Well, that's
"Oh,
true.
okay, let's go."
Well, she can't.
No, I know, but it's very quick. He was like ready to kill her, and he just like that. He's like, oh, "Okay, let's go."
I mean, luckily she was cribbing him the fuck out right at the very end.
Yeah.
Like he's a little bit
that's
more
true.
susceptible. So like she's like, I'm a monster. I'm probably doing some evil channeling stuff on top of you while we're doing it.
Channeling sex.
Right. Not just in your dream that may be a magic dream or just a regular dream. Let's not fight about that again.
No, what she's going to channel now.
Right. So, like, it does give him a little context. Like, he was freaked the fuck out when that happened. So
he was.
That also highlights one of the things I do really like about this the show / the setting is that there is, at least as far as I've seen so far, no skepticism from anyone. It's just like, oh yeah, she's this like Ren's like, what are you talking about? There's no such thing. You're out of your mind. So it's like, oh shit, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, he already killed one of them, so or thinks he did.
That's true.
So he knows.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he did. The
nevertheless, yeah. I mean, even
like,
still.
And the land fear as like a creature or being in mythology or their history is known. It's not like he wouldn't know who or what land fear is. It's like, an old scary ghost story type thing.
There's, it's an interesting thing, and like the show does it too, right? But in the books, and Jordan, the author, has like spoken about this. Like, there isn't any organized religion because there's no faith. Like, we just know the proof of the creator exists everywhere. Like, there's no doubt, right? So there's no need for us
in this episode. So we'll talk about that later, though.
So yeah, it's a different vibe. So there is just belief. Like, there's no doubt. There's like, oh, okay, I guess that's true. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. It does also, I think, just give you a quick shorthand for the fact that, like, despite anything else, like, there is a very strong bond of trust between the two of them, Moiraine and Rand.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Are y'all ready to give us your thoughts in a number between 1 and 5 in quarter increments?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess I am.
All right. Anyone want to go first? I'll go first.
Somebody has to.
I'm going to give it a... I don't know if I want to do a 3-5. It's a weird episode for me because I feel like, Brendan, you felt about the last episode where it's like individual scenes are good, but together, I don't know, it didn't do it for me, and it's got a lot of stuff that I didn't like, but it's also got a lot of stuff that I like. Tough for me. I'm going to go with 3.25.
Okay.
It's tough. This was a tough one for me.
I'll go next. I think I'm also going to give it a 3.25. I was leaning to a 3, but it did have some cool stuff in it. But yeah, it wasn't as good, I think, as the last episode, but it was okay. So I'll give it a 3.25.
I think I'll continue my trend of generally, I think, being more generous than everybody else. I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
So much more generous.
Not much more, but more. Yeah, I think the Matt, like, I think the things that don't work for me in this episode are just like we said, like, there's stuff in there that you probably could have just put in the other part. Like, I don't mind the reading out loud for the audience. I think that's fun. I don't know, whatever.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Right? Just, yeah, exactly. But like the Matt stuff, I agree. Like, hi everyone. I love that. Like,
they also have conversations that they've had already in the first 2 episodes over again. I feel like we're getting a lot of the same. Like, there's another scene with Alana and Liandrin and Nynaeve, like having a scene together, like basically talking about the same things they've been talking about. Since
I don't mind. I like that. I like this stuff. I like Liandrin the manipulator very much, and I think this show does a good job with that.
Better.
So
yeah, I like that part.
And the end sticks. Like, I was curious from knowing what was going to happen. I haven't seen it a few times, and watching it now. Like, how would the end feel without any kind of surprise in it? And I'm like, no, it still lands. So that's mine. Brendan?
Yeah, I'm actually also going to go with a 3.5. I agree with Joe. I think it has the same sort of it has the same problem that I was talking about last week's episode having, where it's as a collection of scenes. It's it's good, and as an episode, it's just not that great. It's higher than what I gave last week's though, because the stuff that isn't done very well, the Perrin and Matt stuff, is joking aside about it, is at least much shorter.
Yes.
So there's more time spent on the good stuff, and the stuff that's done well, it's really done well. Like, we didn't really talk about it that much, but the whole, like, Nynaeve's whole storyline, Zoe Robbins doesn't have a lot of dialogue, but she's still acting very well. Like, there's a scene where she's walking down a hallway in the White Tower, and she doesn't say anything. She's not talking to anybody, but I have never seen a person so convincingly act not wanting to be somewhere. She's just like, it's just really, the parts that are done well are done very well.
Yeah.
And the parts that aren't done very well don't take that long.
And the writing in the scenes, the individual scenes is pretty good, except for, like I said, some of the stuff that just kind of is. Yeah.
And Jen, I think it was Jen, pointed out the whole Egwene thing about, like, it didn't really happen. It wasn't real. It's like, it's like, it's very well done, because she thinks she's helping and she's just making it worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3.5.
There we go. That's all of us.
Yep.
Yes,
That's pretty tight though. This one, 3.25 to 3.5. That was the span of the scoring. So this might be the tightest episode, right, Brendan? Like, in terms
on the rewatch so far. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. 3.25, 3.5. That's a flat out whatever would be in between that. 3.4.
3.38.
Yeah, 375.
3.375.
Yeah.
Averaged out. All right.
All right, guys.
Yeah. Any last thoughts? Any last words before we let Brendan go?
No.
Thank you, Brendan, for joining us.
All right, guys.
And we're back. If you have not read all of the books of the Wheel of Time, please turn this podcast off, because we are about to spoil. I had a lot of stuff in here, but I think we talked about a bunch of this in the actual episode. I'm sorry.
People were saying in chat, was
Cat's Way name drops again.
Yeah, was Lanfear using the true power at the end, and that's why.
Yeah, we had that conversation last time, right? And is that the saw in her eyes, right?
Yes.
Is that what that was?
She's definitely, the true power is definitely used to regenerate her.
Remember
like
when
black looking, right?
That leak came out of that scene?
Yeah,
and
I was
oh my God,
that.
it's Elida having a dream, and she opens her eyes in the dream, and her eyes, I was like, like so far off.
Very far off.
Yeah, I was, when I was watching it today and they showed that scene, it's exactly what I thought about. It was that little piece of footage.
But think about like that they saw that. That's where the reaction was like. It was like a huge reaction, right? And wouldn't we like people clapping and stuff? Like, that's what they saw. Like, that would have been awesome.
Well, that was the end of the episode, so they might have seen like maybe the whole episode or like a draft.
Just that scene is enough to be like,
what the hell? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but she's not using the true power when they're in the bed.
That's what they were saying.
Oh, that's what they were saying.
That's what people were saying in chat. Like, maybe that's why he could see it a little bit, because it was the true power. But we don't know for sure that he can't see Saidar on the show.
Yeah, we have no idea what they're doing on the show. But I clearly thought that in the beginning of the next episode, when she comes back to life, that was the true power.
Yeah.
Which is got a pretty distinct look.
Yeah, that's like it's blackness coming from the ground and whatever. Like, yeah,
I don't know.
I thought it was more along the lines of like, like they're not going to do goosebumps. Like someone's just said it in chat. Right? They're going to do like Spidey sense or whatever. Like, he's going to get a sense that somebody's channeling, even if he can't see what the weaves are.
Yeah. It is tough to do. Like, I know Brendan, it's frustrating for Brendan, and I get it. It's funny because this is like one thing that's in the books that he decided that he decided to keep, where it's not really working at least the way they're doing it. It's a little confusing.
Yeah, I feel like they don't. They haven't done a good job on the show visually of showing channeling without seeing the weaves. Right?
Yeah.
It happens a couple of times, and then he felt like it was a cheat when you went back afterwards and saw the channeling weaves, but like that's what it is.
Yeah.
Or that, but like they don't have like a universal like this is what this person sees and this is what a channeler sees, kind of, and visual language for you, the viewer, to realize that point of view is switching.
Yeah.
So it makes things like this confusing. And so hopefully, we've heard from the department heads and the VFX head and how they're getting even more into distinction in channeling in season 3, that they may.
Did they say
they
that?
may? Yes.
Oh, okay.
That they may. This may be one of the things that they're going to work on is just making it clearer what people can see and can't see, things of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I mean, like I said, this episode's really starting to stray from the books, but there was one thing that I thought that bothered me a little bit, because it puts Egwene in a different state of mind, so to speak, from the books. Like her experience is very different, and I don't mean obviously the events that happen, but like the tone of the experience that she has in the White Tower is very different, because she's talking about like, she says like, ever since I've got here, I feel smaller and smaller. Like she's feeling very alone and depressed in the show with her experience at the White Tower, which in the books is very different, right? She's
loves it. Yeah.
She's having a semi good time. She's enjoying learning about this. She's like, soaking everything up like a sponge. So
right.
It's just like these things bother me the most about it. It's like you're totally changing not the events, but the character's arc in a sense of like their journey.
Yeah, so I'm curious, and we'll find this out sooner or later. Definitely, I guess sometime in the spring, or late winter. I'm curious if, like, we now think that some of the girls, at least, are going to be in the tower in season 3. Is she one of those girls? Does she go back? Does she start to have this positive tower experience that makes her, fall in love with the concept of Aes Sedai, right? That leads her to think that this is something that you want to put effort into protecting. Because right now she's a little bit like, well, fuck y'all. Like, and it, even with that though, it does make it sound like, oh, so now that you're a big deal, you like it. Like, I don't know, but whatever. Sorry, Jen.
I don't know. I'm even thinking about like how she would go back. I feel like she would just be like, you know what? They took me away. I got kidnapped and captured, but now my power is like ridiculous. Like, and I saw my true potential, and like, well, I just want to go. Like, why? I don't know what her reason for going back there would be. We know she's like not gonna end up there probably in the end of the season. So like, I feel like if somebody wants to teach her something else, she'd be like, you know what? Let me go try this now, because like they were keeping me. They weren't teaching me fast enough. Now I feel like she'll get that feeling.
And then how are they going to get to her like accepting to be the Amyrlin? Like, she clearly had a terrible experience there. If she doesn't go back there, and then like, the tower splits and they come to her with like, first of all, them picking her to be the Amyrlin, I guess that still works, right? Because but if they go to her, she's going to be like, fuck you. I don't want to be there. I had a crappy time when I was there. I got kidnapped and I never went back. And why would I be the Amyrlin?
Yeah,
like,
but now she
have that
can
connection. Like, I feel like
take
she's
over and like mold it to what she wants it to be.
But I feel like she doesn't like anything that's going. Like, she's having the worst experience of her life being at the White Tower, and the whole training for an Aes Sedai. She does want to. She still wants to be an Aes Sedai, though.
I think because of Nynaeve. I think if Nynaeve wasn't there, I don't think she'd feel the way she's feeling.
Yeah.
I think it's because everyone's so obsessed with Nynaeve, and no one cares about her.
No, I know. No, I know her her feelings are justified in the show. It makes sense in the show why she feels that way, but like, how are they getting that? How are they going to get from that to her being the Amaryllis? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I just don't like that they're changing her whole experience and arc.
I hear you 100%. I think that you can get her to want to accept that role by playing up the part of it is like, the Aes Sedai need to support Rand, and if I'm going to be the Amaryllis, then I'll get them to support Rand, you know? And like doing that.
Rand's alive. Though. Are you saying later on that's what changed? That could be one of the things that helps change.
Yeah, that could be one of the. Yeah, that it could be that. And two, I think you can easily express.
Even though she's having a crappy time, but
yeah, that it's like
it's just
right.
I think that like Egwene now is a completely different person than Egwene was even at the beginning of the season, and the Egwene we know.
Yeah,
like I know we don't. She murdered someone, like she did. I know, but she did. And in the book, Nynaeve stops her, and she moves on, and then she's. Yeah. This is like a different person.
Right. Everyone murders on this show. Everybody murders. Lots of murder,
and they all fuck.
Lot.
Not
a lot. Yeah. Some of them a lot.
Well, a lot,
but
it's implied.
A lot of makes up. On average, they're all a lot of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you could also kind of play up like you could play off that like her unpleasantness in the tower was due to her jealousy because she felt inadequate compared to Nynaeve.
No, I know. We're not seeing her like having a good time and wanting to be like, you know, having that good experience or that part of it.
Like this terrible ordeal that she goes through in the back half of the season can help her just get rid of all of that. Like by in part just going like, wait, I may not be Nynaeve's level, but I'm much higher than anyone thought I was. Right?
Yeah.
And I can do things that most Aes Sedai can't do either. So
yeah. And then they still can't channel without, you know, bursts of whatever. And
there is a scene in the show, I think it's in the last episode or the episode before, where they talk about the fact that like Egwene and Nynaeve, Egwene and Elaine are still much more powerful than anybody else.
Yeah. Well, we know that.
And they just don't hear that, like because it's being compared to.
To be honest, they would be. I mean, in reality, well, I'm saying in reality, which sounds stupid, but they would be all over Elaine because she's the daughter heir and she's really powerful. Like they would care about her much more than they would care about Nynaeve.
Well, I mean, it's still like they're very, very powerful channelers, but they're nowhere near. Nynaeve's a Forsaken.
No, but what I'm saying is she's going to be the queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and she's going to be nice to die. Like, and even of course, in the books, and I'm going to say in the books, but it just makes sense just logically though. Like they're really impressed by Nynaeve, but this one's a princess. But because they haven't established that like there are no Aes Sedai who are like queens or kings. Like
right,
and rule countries. That's so like, having somebody who's going to do that, and especially like maybe they'll talk about it in the next season. But
I mean, yeah, and in the books, like it's not like this. Like yes, they're like Nynaeve is unbelievable, but they're super excited about all of them. Like they're all the biggest deal in the world.
Trying to break Nynaeve's block. Like they're it's like a game,
right? So Jen, you mentioned something, and I said I was going to get back to it now, but I don't remember what it was. Sorry. Something with Logain?
Yeah, I think it might have been Logain. Jen talked about.
I think we would have put a pin in it for like another part of the another episode.
It was.
I said about the knife. How she's like, if you train him, I'll give you this knife, and you can kill yourself.
Yeah, you're like you didn't like how that played out or whatever, but I feel like that's really just like that's something so that. Hey, Logain's going to be in future seasons and he's still going to be dealing with this kind of like desire to not be in the situation that he's in at all. And like, that's going to play. So I felt like that's a storyline thread that's going to continue on in later seasons. I think that's basically what it was.
I also didn't she was like, teach him everything you know, blah, blah, blah. And then like 30 seconds, you don't need me. I'm like, I guess makes sense, but it's also like
he also can't teach.
I don't
him
know.
'cause
It was
he
just like
can't
a
channel
weird.
Anymore.
I know
he
it's
can't even
just, like
see
he
it
should
and-
still be able to teach Rand stuff. Rand shouldn't just like know, like he just
got,
knows
like,
too much already.
Like a
He knows
guided
how to create
meditation.
weaves.
As a
Yeah, I
guided-
don't
Well,
know.
Yeah,
Like,
he basically just teaches him how to actually embrace the source. That's the only lesson he gives him,
Yeah.
right? Because Ishii teaches him the wrong way in season 1 on purpose, right? You thought at the time that it was an error, but no, he's just trying to fuck with him, right? And Logain teaches him the right way to embrace it or seize it. You have to seize them.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the only lesson you need. You're on your own after
I
that.
don't know. It's just
That's
weird.
all I can
Take
show
the-
you, man. I can
take
kind
it,
of
kill
tell
people.
you, like, see, twist the one and it kind of looked like a little spirally, twirly swirl thing. And then you put this other one, hit the third loop on that and put it come around the left,
No, it's
and
like-
up the back.
Alana's like, pull this from here.
Yeah.
And pull that from there. And then you're weaving it and he's like, I don't know, just fucking grab it. Oh, it's done. You're awesome. Oh my God, go. You know how to do weaves and everything. Go.
Yeah.
You're like, come
Who
on.
needs a sword?
Weird.
Swords are for pussies.
Whatever.
All right. Shall we wrap it up here?
Sure.
I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, so go check out our YouTube page and be sure to like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. Jen, have we gotten a review in a while? Maybe we'll have to check. Write us a
I
review
don't know.
so we can read it, so Jen can read it on the show. And check out our merchandise and Patreon pages. You can always support us that way. We are but lonely or lowly podcasters, so
Not lonely.
no, we're not lonely. The Lone Rangers.
Lonely time.
And I will drop a link in the show notes to the What Up video that we talked about in the beginning, purporting or reporting.
Purporting to report.
He's reporting because it was ported already, right? Somebody ported it to him and now he's reporting it.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
Is that how it works?
Is that what that came from?
Well, port
No.
means to move, right? Or to transfer or travel, port. So if you're reporting, you're moving again.
Whatever.
Tom's looking at me like transport, right? You move something across. Trans means across.
Yes.
Port
From
means
one
move
spot
or
to
carry.
another. Yeah, a report is taking information from one place and bringing it to another place.
That's transporting.
No, that's goods or content.
Oh, you're
Reporting
saying-
is information.
Well, I think reporting
information.
is something
Report
that's
is
been
moving
ported
something
already.
again.
Something that's been moved already. You're then moving it again.
Right.
I don't know, man.
You're saying something that happened already.
Something
No,
that's
Joe, I think it's
happened
trying to
already.
make
Telling
it fun.
somebody something you already heard from
No, it's
someone
exactly
else.
what Jen said. Something
Right,
you're saying again something that already happened.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.